Chag Sameach. I know that all of you are so happy to be back inside our wonderful shul, but let me assure you that your happiness is only probably doubled by Cantor's and my happiness to see you here. It is very impressive to be leading services and seeing no one in the seats. Even though the services on Zoom have been lovely and it's been wonderful seeing so many of you on Zoom, it's so beautiful to be together. Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Today is Shavuot. And Shavuot is the time of the giving of the Torah. And I want you to know before I continue my talk today that today and tomorrow are going to be very personal talks for me, because today is in between two very important milestones in my life. I'll tell you which one tomorrow is tomorrow. But yesterday was the 25th anniversary of my ordination as a rabbi. And I was thinking about this. Of course, I was reminiscing with all of my colleagues and friends with whom I graduated. And I was thinking about how that connects to three major things that are happening today. One is, of course, Shavuot itself. One is our being together for the first time in over a year for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And one is what's going on in Israel, which no matter how much we celebrate our joy today, that joy must be mitigated by our knowledge of our brothers and sisters who are in danger. And I was thinking, what is the connection between all of these things? And the connection, of course, is the giving of the Torah. Because without the Torah, we aren't a people. Without the Torah, we aren't connected. But because of the Torah, what is happening in Israel is not happening just to some poor people in another country, it's happening to our brothers and sisters. It's happening to people who are connected to us, who are part of us. And therefore we have an obligation, because of Torah, to every single man, woman, and child in the land of Israel. We have an obligation to pray for their safety and for their peace, and to work for their safety, to show our solidarity. This Thursday night, we are going to have a great opportunity to do that. The rabbis of the community will be leading a solidarity vigil, which if you are already on my email list, you will get information about on Wednesday. If you are not on my email list, please, after Chag, send me an email so that I can send you an email and you can be part of this too. Since the rabbis will be together, but everybody else will be online. Because being a Jew is about being connected to Torah. Kol Yisrael Aravim Zelazeh. Every Jew is responsible one for another. So as we celebrate the receiving of the Torah, the giving and the receiving of the Torah, and we celebrate being together, we think of the families who are huddled in bunkers, who can't celebrate today because rockets are falling on their homes. And make no mistake, this isn't about Palestinians being kicked out of their homes. This isn't about an occupation. When Hamas attacks, it's about the destruction of Israel and the Jewish people. If we gave all of Israel to the Palestinians tomorrow, Hamas would still be killing us. So make sure we understand that. And let us pray for peace in Israel, but let us also show our solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Israel in every single way we can. Whether it is by going to this rally on Thursday, which I hope as many of you will, online be going to, whether it's by purchasing internet goods from Israel to help with their economy. If you have friends or family members who have birthdays or anniversaries or B'nai Mitzvah coming up, there's no better way to celebrate it than to buy a gift from Israel and help Israel's economy that way. Whether it is by contacting people in Israel and just saying, we are with you. I have friends who tell me in Israel, I say to them, I wish I could do more than just tell you I'm thinking about you. And they say to me all the time, every time we hear from a Jew outside of Israel that they are thinking about us, it gives us courage. So we are not hopeless, and we are not helpless. And we have an obligation through our connection through Torah. People say to me all the time, Rabbi, you're so passionate about Israel. Do you have relatives who live there? My answer is always the same. Yes, I have 7 million brothers and sisters, and so do you. And so as we read about the giving of the Aseret HaDibrot, and we read our Torah portion, it is a reminder that all Jews everywhere are connected. That as we celebrate being together here, our celebration is impeded by the fact that we have brothers and sisters in peril in Israel, and it is our obligation to do what we can for them. Chag Sameach.